This is the third video series to replace the Boca bearings for the Protos 500, and I've taken all the idle pulleys, the belt pulleys, out because it's a lot of work and they take a lot of video time. So the way they're configured is the way they sit on the helicopter. So this one is for the belt tensioner in the rear. These two right here are for the belt tension here and on the opposite side. This one here sits in this cup is for the belt tensioner that sits up front right near the motor. It sits in this area. So I've taken those out, and I went ahead and took one of the shafts out already. And I'll show you how I do that. First, the tools you need are your Allen wrenches and some kind of bearing or pinion removal tool. So to do that is to snug it up, put it in the center of the tool, and then just proceed torquing it down. Once you reach the bottom, kind of back it off, make sure you're in the center of the bearing. And then continue. Back it out. It takes it to that point because this tool doesn't really push it all the way through. And you could pull it out like this. Take the remaining section. Put that in the center. One, get a little push, and the shaft is removed. So you can repeat that 3 times with the Protos heli. There's 3 locations that have 3 shafts. The only one that doesn't have a shaft is the rear belt tension. Replacing them is pretty straightforward. Simply push them out. Check the seats, make sure everything's clean. Take a Q-tip, wipe all the inside, make sure there's No residue in there. Take the new bearing, press it in. That one's done. Repeat it over and over until you get every one of them replaced. The belt tensioner uses a small little sleeve that goes in between, so be sure not to lose that, otherwise you'll have too much slack. And the tail belt. And that simply slides right in between, just like that. So that one's ready. Now that you have all four replaced, you can reinstall the shafts. These have to be kind of pressed fit in because it's a real tight tolerance. There you go. Try to keep an equal distance on both ends.
AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, covering 2,000 more 4G cities and towns than Verizon. AT&T, rethink possible.
That's what you want. Let's see that. Repeat the step. There you go. One thing when you install these, make sure you start straight. Otherwise, if you start cooking, you could damage the bearing race, and the bearing will be no good to you. So all are fitted. All completed. So to reinstall, it's pretty straightforward. This tail unit, this one drops in at the top here, above. Remember, you have the sleeve that goes in there. There's no need for this to be real super tight. Just snug it up. Make sure there's some play in there. And that one's good. These here are a bit tricky because I didn't take nothing apart, and they sit on the inside here. So I'm going to skip this part and just install this one here up front, and just rest assured when I get these in, this could take some time because I didn't take the frame apart. I don't want to pull the boom out, but they sit like this, and the other one sits on the opposite side, but they're inside the frame pushing in on the belt. Simply realign the holes and reinstall the nut or the screw, and you're good to go. There it is. Now the reason these bearings should be replaced because these pulleys spin at a high RPM. These things get a lot of wear, and this is great evidence of that. I don't know. Hopefully this can be seen in the camera, but the entire top seal, the metal seal of this one came completely out. And this bearing is real worn out. It's bad. So I was experiencing some vibrations and whatnot in the helicopter. And that's a telltale sign something's wrong. And pulleys, check your pulleys, especially all the Protos owners. Some of these bearings might not be bad, some probably are. It doesn't hurt to junk them. They're not, the OEMs are not that expensive. I don't want to say these are expensive or not inexpensive, but they do cost more than the OEMs because they're ceramic. But it's well worth the investment. So if any of you guys thinking about replacing them, the ceramic bearings are the way to go, because there's greater tolerance in these, less friction, less heat, they spin faster, and they'll last longer. And that's what you want. So I hope this helped.